Hey everyone, it's Rhiannon here and I'm here to talk to you about another excellent book. So I thought, seeing as it's Pride Month, what better month to celebrate an excellent new young adult contemporary romance book. And that book is Birthday by Meredith Russo. I absolutely love the design of this book, and not just because the sprayed edges match my t-shirt. So like I said, Birthday is a young adult contemporary coming-of-age romance novel centred around two best friends, Morgan and Eric, who share the same birthday, and we sort of meet them every year on their birthday. So it starts when they're 13 and it ends when they're 18. Morgan is trans, but she hasn't come out to anyone, and a large majority of the book sort of grapples with her dealing with that and working out a way to tell Eric and working out a way to tell her dad. It is heartbreaking, it's so moving, and it's got a wonderful romance at its core. I will say this book features suicidal thoughts, so if that's a trigger for you, that's just something to be aware of. So there are two main characters, Morgan and Eric, but it very much is Morgan's book. She's a young trans girl struggling to come out to the people she knows and also struggling to live in the environment that she does. Both Morgan and Eric live in this very, very small town in America that is not very progressive or liberal, and you see Morgan struggling to be able to express herself how she wants to. When it starts, she's 13 and she's trying to tell Eric that she is a girl, but she doesn't know how. Her mum has died quite recently. This is her second birthday without her, I believe, and you can sort of tell that she was very much closer with her mum than she ever was with her dad. One of the most touching elements of the book is that Morgan's mother died of cancer, so she had a bit of warning that she was going to pass away. She decided to leave these letters for Morgan to read on her birthday every year, and these letters are both incredibly moving but also not what Morgan needs, because she never came out to her mum. So her mum constantly, talks about the beautiful wife her son will have, and, the emphasis on what a man he'll become. And it sort of just sends Morgan spiralling down even more into this state of confusion and depression and turmoil. Something I also really liked was Russo doesn't portray Morgan's dad as being evil. He's not abusive, he's just very closed off because his wife died and he doesn't know how to relate to his child anymore. And something that Morgan and him had always bonded over was American football, because he's a football coach and Morgan used to really love football and be really good at it, but now, because she's 13, football is very much tied up in all this like toxic masculinity and macho-ness that she's really trying to avoid, because she just wants to live life as herself. And her dad can't really understand why she's withdrawn from this thing that they both love together, and because she feels like she can't tell him how she really feels, it just creates this wall between them. But I did really appreciate that Russo didn't just make him sort of ignorant and evil. You can tell that he does really, really love Morgan, but he just doesn't understand her at all. So while we see Morgan dealing with the grief of losing her mother and trying to come out, we see Eric dealing with his, frankly, awful father. I hate his dad. He is... It makes you so angry when you read it. He's like the embodiment of toxic masculinity, and he's sort of raising his sons to be like macho men who hate gay people. Eric is portrayed to be this like quite gentle boy who just wants to play his guitar and doesn't really want to play football, and his dad is just like forcing him into this role he doesn't want. So both Eric and Morgan are dealing with very different but equally sad issues. The standout part for me of this book was the relationship between Eric and Morgan. There's something so pure and innocent about it, even when they're both growing up and dealing with hormones and not really talking to each other. They just return again and again to this like pure connection they have with each other that just feels very lovely, and it's so nice to read. The best parts of the book are when they're just together and they're just chatting and they're just hanging out, and you can really tell when you see it from Morgan's point of view that when she's with Eric, that's kind of one of the only times she can ever really be herself, because she sort of walls herself off from people at school because she's being bullied because they think that she's gay. Whereas with Eric, you kind of see all of that just fall away, and it was just really lovely watching them spend their birthday together every year. I think one of my favourite scenes from the book was there's a scene where Morgan uses her birthday money to go and buy some makeup, and she puts it on herself to try and see what she would look like, and it's written in this absolutely heartbreaking way. It made me cry. It's so well done, it's so touching, and Morgan has this moment where she's like, this is what I could look like, and even in that like split second that she puts on the makeup, in the narration you can just feel this weight lift off her shoulders as she sort of settles into the potential of living life as she wants to live it. And there was just this line that really stuck with me when Morgan is talking to someone, I won't say who because I don't want to spoil it, Morgan is talking to someone about the possibility of transitioning, and the person is asking all these questions like, oh, what's going to happen to your body? And Morgan thinks like, is this what it's gonna be like for the rest of my life? Are people just gonna be concerned about my body all the time? And I think it really hit home, because in the news when you read about trans people, a lot of people just focus on their bodies, and there's no need to. And I think this book is really important as well for getting rid of the misconceptions that are perpetuated quite a lot in the media about being transgender. So as you might be able to tell, I absolutely loved this book. I really want everyone to read it. It does deal with sad themes, but it has an ultimately happy and uplifting ending, and it just made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a lovely day.